My name's Jerry McMillan. I'm a UROP advisor, and thank you for coming to our Symposium application and overview presentation. We're here to talk about the upcoming UCI Undergraduate Research Symposium, what it is, what's going on, how you can participate, and all sorts of other stuff that you may want to know before then. We will finish by telling you how you can get even more information. So the symposium this year is the 30th annual kinda UCI Undergraduate Research Symposium. The only kinda being we had a couple years where we didn't quite do a symposium because we weren't doing anything in the spring. 30 years that we've done this. Our theme this year is tradition and vision. We've done it a long time, but we also want to celebrate all the future symposiums, all of this future undergraduate research we'll be able to celebrate in the years to come. The symposium date is Friday, May 19th. It'll take place in the Bren Event Center, which is a huge building, and I think we've already filled everything that's in there. So the focus of the day is going to be two major sessions of poster presentations. There's one in the morning from 11 to 12:30, and then one in the afternoon from 2 to 3:30. Throughout that time, the entire floor of the Bren Center is going to be covered with easels and posters, including hopefully some of yours. Two different sessions. At the end of the first one, everybody whose posters on the floor goes away, and then we bring in the next set of people for the next session. So we have the option to present a whole lot of posters that day. Other things that are going on during that day, we'll have some arts performances. We're talking to dance, music, theater, maybe even some studio art presence at the symposium. We'll have some corporate sponsors there that you can talk to them about potential jobs going down the road. We'll have a resource fair. We're inviting student clubs to come. We're also inviting professors to come and talk about their labs and invite students to work with them. We will have, I don't know if you've seen announcements, one of the things we've got going on is we have an event going on started on March 14th where students can identify professors that they would like to pie. And the official pieing of the professors will happen at the symposium. We are lining up professors who won't mind a pie in their face for a good cause. And then we'll also close the day with an awards ceremony, and much more on that as we go along. That's the day on Friday, May 19th. But that's not the beginning. Leading up to the symposium day, we have 3 evenings of oral presentations. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that same week, we have 3 different nights. We are inviting students who want to do oral presentations to sign up for the opportunity to present here. More on this later. We have 3 different nights. Each night has a different theme. A night of insights, a night of innovations, a night of inspirations. So it's a chance to come and see students not doing a poster, but actually getting up in front of a room and talking about their research. So throughout the week, we have both oral and poster presentations, but a whole lot of celebration of student research. Posters, as I said, are going to be the biggest part of our symposium this year. Friday, May 19th is the poster sessions. We will also be presenting posters on what we call our engagement hub, which is going to be our website program. So we will have everybody that's presenting a poster at the symposium can also upload their poster to be displayed on the web. They can also, if you can't present on the 19th, you'll still have the option to upload a poster so that at least you can have some recognition, some presence of the research you've done. As I mentioned, we have 2 different sessions for the posters, 11 to 12:30, 2 to 3:30. And just as a reminder, when we're talking about a poster presentation, there's an assumption I've run into for a lot of students that they assume a poster presentation is, I put a poster on an easel and that's my presentation, people go look at it and isn't that cool? And that's wrong. A poster presentation is, I put my poster on an easel and I am here to talk about my poster, so that the two of us together are the presentation. So if you are presenting during one of those two sessions, you need to be with your poster for that entire 90-minute session. And then you'll have the other 90-minute session to go around and look at some of the other research that's there. For this year, our posters are going to be arranged by themes. And if you are registering to present a poster, we are going to ask you to self-identify your research into one of 11 themes. You may check as many of these on the registration form as are appropriate. And we absolutely know that these themes do not conveniently line up with your majors or your schools or your departments, and we kind of did that deliberately because we want to have a nice mix going on. But if you want to present a poster, as you are filling out the registration form, you need to identify one or more themes that apply to your research. And if, as you look at this list, you say, none of those really fit, these are all we got, so find something that's close. None of them may be perfect for you, but find a best fit. Because at the symposium, the posters are going to be arranged by theme. There will be the child adolescent development section, the diversity, equity, inclusion section, et cetera, et cetera. So your poster will be grouped with all of the other posters that identify as that same theme. So just keep that in mind as you're filling out the registration form. Other things about the posters. If you submit your registration form to do a poster, as a reminder, our initial registration is due on April 17. If you're going to do a poster, somewhere in late April, we will return your application to you and ask you a couple of things. First of all, we will ask you to upload your poster so that we can display it on our website. The other thing we're going to ask you to do is for the first time at our symposium, we're actually going to have judges at the student presentations. If you want your poster, you and your poster to be eligible for a Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Undergraduate Research, more on that later, you can make that decision, check, yes, I want to be judged, by that May 8th deadline. The May 8th deadline also gives you the opportunity to change anything in your application that may have changed by then. For example, if your abstract if you've gotten more research done, you may want to update your abstract a little bit. So the secondary revision deadline, May 8th, but the biggest thing there is you need to upload your poster. And as a note, this is almost 2 weeks before the event, which may make you think, but I'm not going to have my poster done by then. And the answer is you should. And the biggest reason you should is we've talked to the two printers directly at the UCI campus, the ImageWorks in the School of BioSci and the UPS store over in the Student Center. And if you were to get your poster printed through them, they want at least 2 weeks to make sure they have time to get yours done. So this May 8th deadline is very much in line with the deadline for getting your poster professionally printed. So if you're doing a poster, the two deadlines, April 17 to finish your registration, and then May 8 to upload your poster and finish all of the other things. Two other things to think about if you're doing a poster. As we are moving forward, we will have 2 different types of presentations in this very room that you can participate in. First of all, we're going to do a couple of presentations called Prepare and Present a Poster. During that time, we will talk about what do you want to put on a poster? How do you design a poster? What don't you want to put on a poster? And then we'll also talk about, that's where, as I mentioned, a poster presentation is the poster and you. We'll talk about how that interaction works and what you should be prepared to talk about with your poster. Those are April 19 and 25, so conveniently before that May 8th secondary deadline. The other thing we're going to do, we've never done this before, I think it sounds like fun, is we're doing a couple of short poster interactive workshops. And this is about a week before that May 8th deadline. And what we're doing is we'll give you the opportunity, hopefully by then you're underway in your poster design, bring it in. Hook up your laptop to one of these screens. And anybody in the room can just walk by and look at your poster and say, oh, that's really cool. I love the way you did that. Have you considered maybe doing this? So it's a chance to look at what other people are doing. It's a chance to have people look at what you're doing and maybe get some feedback that improves your overall design. It's intended to be anybody that shows up can participate. And if you have your poster and want to put it up, great. If you don't and just want to see what other people are doing, talk about them, great as well. So all of those are available on our website. Go to our calendar page. That'll take you to campus groups. You can sign up for any of those. We would love to see you if you're doing a poster. So that is the rudimentary, if I want to do a poster, these are the things I need to know in advance side of things. Oral presentations. Oral presentations, by the nature of the way we're doing it, the process is more complicated. As I mentioned, we are doing those 3 nights, May 16, 17, 18, Insights, Innovations, Inspirations of live in-person oral presentations. The people, each one of those nights will have up to 10 people presenting. And the people who are presenting on those nights are people whose oral presentations have been judged and been judged worthy of presenting. So if you are interested in presenting one of those evenings as an oral presentation, your first step is before the April 17 initial submission registration deadline, you need to prepare a 3-minute video of you doing an oral presentation of your research. This does not have to be and won't be the final presentation that you will do if you're selected to present. But it needs to be something that tells the people that are doing our judging, we want this person to be presenting at our showcase. It's basically an audition tape. So boil your research down to a 3-minute pitch. The purpose of this is just to say, this is an awesome presentation. I'm a great presenter. My research is cool. You should have me presenting in person. Again, that has to be submitted as part of the original April 17 deadline, which is coming up fast. Also, as you are registering with that video for April 17, as I mentioned, the 3 different nights have 3 different themes: insights, innovations, inspiration. And I've had questions from a lot of students saying, I don't know which my research fits into. Can you tell me more about what those categories mean? And the answer is no. We have deliberately left them vague so you can see the one and think, oh, that one's kind of cool. I think this is insight. It's up to you to decide. We are not going to dictate where your research fits. Each one of those words will have things that it means to you. See where your research falls. You can also select more than one. But as with the posters, it's up to you to self-identify the theme that your research applies to. If you submit one of these videos for judging, we will announce the winners on May 1st. And then you will have from then until the symposium, May 19th, to fully develop a 7-minute presentation to do in person. So during that time, you'll have the opportunity to more than double the length of your presentation. You can put in much more detail, make it much more rich, much more robust. So the 3-minute one you submit with your registration is just to say, I should be presenting. When you have the opportunity to present, you can present for up to 7 minutes. If you are selected to present, you do not need to upload any more videos. You just come and present in person. Another option for an oral presentation, I've just talked about the whole process of doing one if you want to present live and in person, if you want to go through our judging process. If you don't want to do that, but you want to get the experience of just doing an oral presentation, you will have the opportunity to record an oral presentation up to 10 minutes and upload it to our website as part of the May 8 deadline. So 2 options for oral presentations. You'll see this as you go through the registration form. If you click, I want to do an oral presentation, the next box will say, I want to do one that will be judged for possible in-person presentation. The other option is, I don't want to be judged, I just want to upload something before the symposium so that it's on the website that people can watch. So it sounds fairly convoluted. It is fairly convoluted. Any questions on that? I know there's a lot of different moving pieces in there for the orals. Yeah.
I was going to ask for the recording and uploading to the website. Would we be recording our screen and talking about it digitally, or would we put our camera here and then we have our poster next to us and we're talking about it to the camera, or how would that
So
work?
for an oral presentation, for a poster, all you are uploading is your poster itself. It's the poster without the presentation.
Yes.
For an oral presentation, we have no requirements for how you do it.
Okay.
We will have, and I can't remember what they are, basically all we want you to upload is a URL that we can link to. And if that's Zoom, if it's somebody like Natalie sitting back there with a camera while you do this incredible professional thing, that's up to you. All we want from you is a link.
Got it, okay.
So, yeah.
So I won't be done with all my research until June.
Yep.
But I'll have a good chunk of it done by May.
Yep.
Of course, so I probably shouldn't do the 3-minute video for judging it.
Not necessarily. One of the great things about research, and all of you recognize this, is a project ever completely done? I see a whole lot of shaking heads. You've got stuff so far. Talk about it. The thing about this one is because it's a 3-minute video for a 7-minute opportunity, there's stuff you can add at the end, and some of the stuff you can add in the end is the 2 weeks of research you've put in between the time you recorded this to the time you're talking here. So as part of your pitch, maybe you say something like, we're still collecting data, I'll have a lot more at the symposium. Just a recognition that, okay, I know this is incomplete, but it's still really cool and I should have the opportunity to talk about it. So I will never say, you ain't done, so you shouldn't present. Decide if you have enough that's exciting to talk about without a firm cutoff that you want to share it. And frankly, the one thing I'd suggest, I recommend everybody do this. Simply for the experience. Ours is a low pressure thing. You either get to present or you don't present. It's not an enormous deal. Maybe the next time you're doing this is to get into grad school or to get a job or to get funding. The more you practice this, the better the next one's going to be. So even if you're not wild about the opportunity, even if you're not completely done with your research, do it anyway, just for the experience. Yeah.
I think something that also stuck with me, because I remember going to the Europe information like last quarter for honors, the information event. Something I remember we talked about was that it's very hard to make a perfect, it's impossible really to make a perfect presentation. And so like it's better to practice and keep practicing and just keep getting better, I think is what you said.
Yeah. Is it possible to do a perfect presentation? No. I've been doing these for years. Some of them are good. Are any of them no. If they're ever perfect, you will never see me here again because I will have achieved something. I can't top that. I'm done. No, but they keep getting better. And every time you do it, you get more comfortable doing it. And that's the thing, for me, that's the biggest value of your participating in the symposium, is you have a fairly low pressure opportunity to get up and do something you're going to have to do professionally in much higher pressure environments. So take advantage of it every opportunity you get. Any other questions just on the oral presentations before we move on? Yeah.
Just to clarify, the online presentation that you upload onto the website will be 10 minutes?
Yeah, so if you are just uploading a presentation to the website for posterity, not for the judging, you have up to 10 minutes. So it can in fact be longer than the in-person one. And if you are doing an in-person one, you can also upload the 10-minute one. We're flexible about that, but there are a lot of options. Moving on. I think I've already covered all of this stuff. Online recorded presentations, I've talked about those. Submit by May 8 and up to 10 minutes. A couple of things to think about. If you look on our website, there's a link to a video on how to do a 3-minute pitch. It was created last year for our, what did we call it, Project Pitch Challenge that we're not offering this year, but it's basically how to do a 3-minute video, things you should consider, what you should talk about, what not to talk about, how to make it compelling, and then also some tips on doing a good recording. On April 12, the Entrepreneur Center is going to be doing a presentation on how to do a good oral presentation. You can get to the link on our campus groups page. You can also get to it through their website. It'll be a Zoom presentation that will also be recorded, and we'll put a link on our website. So those are good places to look at it. If you submit a video for judging and you are selected to present in person, we will also be offering several sessions we call Practice Your Oral Presentation, in which we will give you the opportunity to come into this room, stand here, do your oral presentation in front of a Europe staff member, probably me, whoever else is in the room, and get feedback on your presentation. This is the week before those showcase presentations, so it's an opportunity to do it while you've had an opportunity to get up to that 7-minute length, but still have time to change things. So you can come in, get feedback, and say, oh, that's a really good idea. I should try it this way. And still play with it while you have time to do it and still make it your own. So I recommend those very highly. Those are also available on our website. And as I said, those are open specifically for the people who are selected to present at our showcase evenings. I mentioned we're having awards. We have a tradition with the Symposium of the Chancellor's Awards for Excellence in Undergraduate Research. These are certificates signed by the Chancellor saying, you're amazing. You're all amazing, but we don't get certificates for all of you because his hand would get tired. We are giving away 2 different types of Chancellor's Awards this year. For oral presentations, if you are selected to present in person at the showcase, you will receive a Chancellor's Award for undergraduate research. If you are presenting at one of those evenings, each one of those sessions will be judged, and one presenter each evening, in addition to the Chancellor's Award, will receive a $100 Amazon gift card. So you get the Chancellor's Award for submitting an awesome 3-minute video. You get the Amazon card for not only having the awesome 3-minute video, but for doing a really awesome 7-minute presentation in person. You can also receive the Chancellor's Award for poster presentations. We are going to have judges walking the floor of the Bren Center during the symposium. As I mentioned, if you want to be judged, there will be a checkbox to select for the May 8th deadline. We will look at all of the poster presentations that have checked in to be judged. Our judges will talk to you. They'll look at your poster. They'll see how well you're talking about the poster. I'm assuming they won't identify them as judges because that would be a giveaway. We just want you to be comfortable talking about your poster, and those are going to be judged as well. We have those 11 themes. 3 people from each one of those themes will be selected to receive Chancellor's Awards. And then one of those 3 people for each theme will also receive the Amazon gift card. So again, we're finding ways to reward you for doing both an excellent poster, but also relating to your poster really well. One of the absolute judging criteria for the poster presentation is how well you interact with the poster. So it's not just how well is this designed, it's how well you work with it to convey the information. And then we will announce the winners of the Chancellor's Awards and all of that stuff at the end of the event on the 19th. Moving on, I've mentioned several times the initial registration deadline is April 17. If you want to present at the symposium, you must register and complete the submission form by this deadline. There are 3 things you might need for this, in addition to just basic information. You are going to need to fill out the submission form. You need to submit an abstract, a 250-word maximum paragraph about what your research is about. What are you going to be presenting about? We also ask you to upload a photo. And the photo, we are deliberately saying, is something that we're calling it a profile photo. It's something that can kind of relate to your research. It can be a headshot. It can be a picture of something you've developed in your research. It can be a scan you did as part of one of your projects. We aren't going to tell you what this photo needs to look like. The documentation I'll talk about a little bit later does have references as to the size and shape and that sort of stuff, but basically it's something when you look at our online system, the Engagement Hub, it's going to have a bunch of tiles. Each tile is a presentation. What's the picture you want people to see on our website that says, "This is my presentation"? That's the profile picture. And then again, the other thing, optional, if you want to be considered for the in-person oral presentation showcase, you must have your 3-minute video done by the April 17 deadline. Another couple of quick notes about our submission form. If you've ever submitted something to Europe in the last couple of years, you know this already. But as you get to the end of the form, there are 2 buttons. One of the buttons says Save as Draft. You may click that button as often as you like, and every time you come back into the system, it will remember everything you've entered so far. I recommend using this often. New to this one is our submission form has multiple pages. When you get to the bottom of the page, there's a Next button. Every time you click Next, it will save everything on your page. The other button at the end is Submit. or submit application, I think is the exact wording. Do not click this button until you are completely done. Once you click submit, you may make no further changes to your submission. It's done. So save as draft all of what you want, but only click submit when you are absolutely sure you are as done as you are ever going to be. Coming back to the, no, it's not going to be perfect, but you want to get close. The other thing about April 17, the deadline is 11:59 p.m. And the software that we use, our web host, tends to get a little crowded, and we've had people time out at about 11:59 p.m. I really recommend do it earlier just to make sure you can get in before the deadline. But officially, it's 11:59 on the night of the 17th. So you submit your form, you pass the April 17 deadline. Late in April, we will send your application back to you in what our system is calling a progress report. During that time, you'll have a couple of things. First of all, you say, in your case, I've done more research. Maybe my abstract needs to be updated. You can do that. This is where, if you want to upload that 10-minute video link, you upload it here. This is where you upload your poster. This is where you choose whether you want your poster to be judged. All of this has to be done and resubmitted by May 8. I won't give you the exact date that we're going to send it back to you, but it will be late April. And you will definitely get, hopefully, unmistakable notices from us saying, it's time, come do this. If you don't, contact us, because maybe something went wrong. But the May 8th deadline is another thing that as soon as you finish the submission, you're done. So make sure everything's uploaded correctly by that point. So for more information, I have rambled a whole lot here about a whole lot of stuff. And as I mentioned before we started, this is being recorded. We'll post the recording to our website so you can come back and listen to it and think, I was asleep for 30 seconds. I wonder what I missed. We'll also be doing this presentation again next week on Zoom if you want to hear what I do the second time around. Those are options for getting this information. There are also a lot of things on our website. If you go to the UROP website, urop.uci.edu, click the Symposium link in the top menu bar, you will see all sorts of options. The critical one, as you're looking down our website, is as you're scrolling down, past the pretty picture, past the call for presenters, you will see this link for the student presenter information. Download that document. It's a PDF, and it's around here somewhere. There it is. It is a 3-page PDF that I'm not going to go through in great detail. But given the fact that you all know the fact that blue text that's underlined is a link, note all of the blue underlined text in here. There's a lot of resources you can get to from here that you can't currently get to elsewhere. Some of it's really important to check. The particular ones you want to look at are these at the end. Resources. Abstract guidelines. I've said an abstract is a 250-word paragraph that describes your research completely. What does that mean? The abstract guidelines, it's just a page or so, but it talks about specifically what we look for in an abstract. Oral presentation guidelines. I've talked so much about all the different ways you do oral presentations, but what do you actually do to do an oral presentation? That's what these guidelines are for. Ditto the poster presentation guidelines. They talk about what we're looking for, things to think about as you're designing these things. It has a link to the Symposium website. You've already found it if you've got this document. Don't worry about this. The Engagement Hub, you can look at last year's Symposium and see what the things this year are going to look like. So as you're preparing your profile picture, as you're preparing the information for the tiles, you can see what it's going to look like this year by looking at examples from last year. One note on our submission form, one of the first things you will enter is your project title. One of the next items you will come to is your, I think it's called short project title. What that means is on our Engagement Hub, that tile, the title on that tile has a limit of 80 characters. As most of you will recognize, a lot of research project titles are a lot longer than 80 characters. So we want your full title at the beginning, but think of how you can title it in a way that people will want to look at your research in 80 characters or less. I ran across an early submission this year where their full title seemed to be 81 characters. And they put the exact thing into the short title, just the last word was incomplete. So I invite you to pay more attention than that to the second title. But for those of you with really long titles, particularly those of you that have a colon in your title and then a whole bunch of words after it, think of a shorter version because we'll ask you for that on our submission form. So, as I said, get the student presenter information form. That'll run you through a whole lot of stuff. Follow the links. They'll give you a whole lot more information. Those guidelines are a good resource to use in terms of what we're actually looking for. And then the other thing, our office is here to help. You can drop in. Our office is open every day from 10 to noon, 1 to 3. Drop in at the front desk. Ask Brennan or one of our student ambassadors questions. We have a deal with the Writing Center. Information's on our website. You can drop in and talk to their people about particularly anything to do with words. If you're designing a poster and want to know how to work word things, how to do a good abstract, they're a great resource to use. You can also, if you get further into this process and want more in-depth feedback, make an appointment with me, one of the other ambassadors, or one of the other advisors, or with Julie or one of our other student ambassadors. We're all there to help you. For me, the Symposium is a highlight of the year. Watching all of you present the stuff you've worked so hard for and be so excited about it is an incredible experience for me and for all of us at Europe. Part of that means we want you to do as well as you can, which means we want to do anything you need us to do to help you do as well as you can. So if you get into the process, you want feedback, you get stuck, you don't know what to do, let us help you. It's why we're here. And with that, just a couple quick reminders. April 17, May 8, those are the two deadlines, and we're here to help you. And going back to the "it ain't perfect" thing we talked about earlier, there's a QR code on this screen. You will also get a follow-up email from our office with that same link. We send out a survey asking how we do in our presentations, because they'll never be perfect. But the only way we know how we can make them better is if you tell us. So it's a short survey. We invite you to fill it out. Tell us how we can do better, or if we're just amazing. As I mentioned, if ever all the feedback comes in and it's perfect, I go find a beach to lie on for the rest of my life. I've achieved it. So let us know how we're doing. But other than that, thank you for coming. Have an amazing symposium, and any questions? Yeah.
I have a couple schedule conflicts with the symposium date. I have an exam that day.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, how does that work if you have, a prior engagement, but you still want to attend for your poster presentation, obviously.
So, couple of things. One, we knew that was going to happen when we moved it to a Friday. If it's unavoidable, those poster sessions, unfortunately, we can't make the one student exemption and have the 9 o'clock poster session just so you can come in and do yours. So there are 2 check boxes on the form for posters. One of them says, I can be there from 11 to 12:30, I can be there from 2 to 3, whatever those times are, I forget off the top of my head. Check those as appropriate. Another thing you can do is we are trying to get buy-in from faculty. We have no idea how successful we are going to be. But there is a tradition at some universities. We're working, one of our faculty advisory board members came to us from Ohio State. And when they do their big undergraduate research symposium, they basically shut down for the day. And so we are trying to invite faculty to be more lenient with their students and say, I'm presenting at the symposium, can I make this up another time? As I say, no guarantees, we've never tried this before, but it's worth a shot. Other than that, do what you can. So.
I can't be there all day, but I can definitely be there in like the later presentations, definitely.
Yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
So I know that there's a video about the project pitch, but are there any like details that would be different if you were to like cater that towards the oral presentation? Like for example, when we're presenting our research topic, should we presume that the judges are knowledgeable on that, or should we provide more background? Like if it's like in scientific terms.
Yeah. So for any presentation at the symposium, be it poster, oral, the videos, anything, we are going to have a very wide audience. And so it is best to assume that the judges are well-educated people in some field. In other words, if you're doing a chem presentation and I'm a musician, I may be one of your judges. That chemistry professor over there may be another judge. But definitely, without dumbing things down, you want it to appeal to a broad base. Let me check my time. Yeah, I have time to say this. I have a very simple definition of multidisciplinary presentation. We want it to be intellectually rigorous. We want it to have enough detail so that somebody who's an expert in your field can get something out of it, which means that somebody like me can be lost at times. However, as somebody who's coming in as a non-subject expert in your field, I want to walk away with the answers to 3 questions. Question 1, why did you do it? What is the hole in the body of human knowledge you are trying to fill, and why? Question 2, what did you find out? And obviously the answer for me is going to be different than it's going to be for that chemistry professor standing next to me. But what did you find out? And then the most important one, why does it matter? Having achieved this, why does anybody care? How is my life different because of what you've done? And if I can walk away with a sense of answers to those 3 questions, even if I don't understand everything else, I'm satisfied. Does that make sense? Other questions? In that case, I'm going to say thank you for coming and tell you that I will be here as you're walking out, you have that, oh, wait a minute, moment. I'll be here for a few more minutes and can answer any other questions you have. But thanks for coming. Have a great symposium and let us help you. Thanks.